Honourable members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favour upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, thou members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labours of government, this land and people may be well and truly served. Thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us the vision of our country, fair as it might be, country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people, and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honourable members, correction of votes and proceedings. We shall proceed with the correction of votes and proceedings for Thursday, 29 June 2023. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, page 14, page 15, page 16, page 17, page 18, page 19, page 20, 21, page 22, page 23, page 24, page 25, page 26. Honourable members, in the absence of any corrections, the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 29 June is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. Official reports. Honourable members, I have the official report of Tuesday, 21st March 2023. Tuesday, 21st March 2023. Any corrections, please? Any corrections? In the absence of any corrections, the official report of Tuesday, March 21st, 2023 is hereby adopted as a true record of proceedings. Honourable members, item 6 on today's order paper is business statement. The chairman of the business committee is hereby invited to present the business statement of the ensuing week.
Mr. Speaker, the Business Committee met yesterday, the 29th of June 2023, and arranged business with the House for the 5th week ending Friday, the 7th of July 2023. The committee accordingly submits its report as follows. Speaker, you may read any available communication to the House, and instructively, 6 ministers have been programmed to respond to questions, totaling 54, out of which 51 are regular questions and 3 are urgent questions. The Speaker may admit statements to be made in the House by honourable members in accordance with Order 72. The Speaker, papers may be laid during the week and reports from committees may also be presented to the House. Motions may be debated and their consequential resolutions may be taken during the week. The House is barely Speaker, we have barely 5 weeks to adjourn Senate DA. And in view of the Business Committee, the Business Committee urges all committees with reference, particularly under the underlisted bills, to expedite consideration on same for the attention of the House. The Grains Development Authority Bill, the Wildlife Resources Management Bill, the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill, Rent Bill, Budget Bill, Criminal Offences Amendment Bill, the National Petroleum Authority Amendment Bill. Speaker, the House would also consider some outstanding bills, including in particular the intestate possession bill. And next week, we should be dealing with it. Speaker, let me also explain. I had given an indication earlier that the House, in all probability, was going to adjourn on the 27th of July. The Speaker, subsequent to that, we've had some engagement, the Speaker and I, and given the fact that we've had so many holidays during this meeting, it's become necessary for us to extend the date for the adjournment. I think it's supposed to be August. Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, but in all probability, the House will adjourn on the 9th of August. On the 9th of August, instead of the earlier given announced probable date of 27th of July. Mr. Speaker, the business as programmed for each of the days beginning Tuesday, 4th July to Friday, the 7th of July, have been so programmed and set out on the paper before us. And I'll accordingly entreat the Hansard Department to deem this as having been read and capture same into the Hansard. The Speaker has to submit.
Yes, honourable members. Any comments? Yes, honourable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the attention of this House about a worrying situation. I don't know who is in charge of making sure that the washrooms. Yes, I have to talk about it. It's very important. So embarrassing, Mr. Speaker. If you go to the washroom, there are no toilet rolls. Since yesterday, there are no toilet rolls in the washroom. So I just want to draw the attention of this. It's very important.
Is that part of the business for next week?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. We're talking about the business of this House.
Thank
we're talking
you.
about the business
I
of
think you should.
Official. It's very important.
You should deal with your leaders because.
Mr. Speaker, my second. This is very important. Because when you have visitors and they go to the toilet, they wash and there are no toilet rolls. So embarrassing to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, my other issue is that this is the second time I'm raising this issue. We have put up a facility for Parliament. The facility is meant for either drivers or our visitors, visitor center or driver center. Mr. Speaker, the facility has been commissioned and Parliament is not using the facility. So this is a waste of the taxpayers' money. I think that leadership should take this seriously for the center to be open for its use. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable.
Mr. Speaker, I'm referring to Standing Order 168 on the functions of the House Committee. Mr. Speaker, what she complained of is the duty of the House Committee. And I believe that a proper referral of her complaint ought to be sent to the House Committee. It has no place in the business statement of the House. Thank you.
Honourable members, I'm only encouraging comments on the business statement, any statement or any business which ought to have been programmed which has not been programmed. All our housekeeping matters will not be encouraged. No housekeeping matters will be encouraged further, please. Yes. Bolly Bamboy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my has to do with questions. At the beginning of this meeting, we were told that about 700 plus questions were outstanding. And the rate at which ministers appear here to answer these questions, I'm afraid by end of this meeting, we'll still have a lot of backlog. When ministers receive questions, Mr. Speaker, our standing orders are clear. Standing Order 63. And with your permission, Mr. Speaker, I want to read. Standing Order 63. A minister shall not take more than 3 weeks to respond to a question from the House. There's evidence that most of these questions are with the ministers. Yet they don't come here to answer the questions. 2 weeks ago, I raised the issue of myself asking about 7 questions addressed to the Minister of Trade. He is here. As we speak, there's no any indication that any of these questions will be answered. Then by August, we close, and then we say that we have a backlog. I think that I will want to appeal to leadership. They should apply our standing orders. Once the ministers are given the questions, they must appear here to answer them. Mr. Speaker, that's what I want to say, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. It's one thing making a political statement, and another thing making a statement of facts. The burden of your submission, if I heard you correct, was to the effect that the Honorable Minister for Trade is a receipt of some questions and is delaying and by extension refusing to answer your questions. Mr. Speaker, that is not factual. That is not factual. You said the law, you were quoting the standing orders, suggesting that the table office has ferried some questions to the ministries and the ministers are refusing to come. These were your words. That was the burden of that submission you made. And you are dealing with reputations. Mr. Speaker, not long ago, Honorable Ablakwa, in pursuing a question, followed all the various channels, checked with the table office whether it been transmitted, checked from the speaker. And when he was making a submission on the floor, he was on factual basis. You have not done your check. You have not done your statement. Mr. Speaker, it is unacceptable. That's all the point I want to make. It is unacceptable. Honorable KTM, have you checked for him whether he has received
with the business statement?
Said questions? No, but you don't do that to the ministers.
Business statement.
The Speaker.
On to pro statement. The majority leader.
Exactly. The Speaker, that is what I was coming to draw your attention to. The chairman of the business committee has presented the report. He has made his submission. If you have some counter member submit, it is the duty of the chairman to respond to the submission of the member. And what is factually incorrect about what he has said? That there are 700 questions that you have informed this house about. Is it a fact or not a fact? It's a fact. And he said that leadership should employ strategies to make sure that those questions are attended to. That is what he said. Then you didn't hear him properly. He made mention of 700 questions. So you were responding to your own imaginations, not his submission.
Thank you very much, leadership. Yes, whole West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going through the business statement for next week, I've noticed that our motion which was advertised yesterday and today, has not found its way on the business statement. Our motion, the motion by the 8 private members on the proper promotion of proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Value Bill, has been advertised yesterday and today. And I'm sure if we are not able to take it today, it should find space in the business statement. Unfortunately, it has not found space. More so, if it's even taken today, it should find space for consideration stage in the business statement. It's been advertised for 2 days now, and nothing has appeared on the business statement. So I want to find out from the business committee what they are doing about it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to commend the majority leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs for the presentation of the business statement. Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Majority Leader has given us an indication of when we are likely to adjourn, and I commend him for that. It helps us to plan, particularly with relation to our constituency engagements when we take a break. However, the Honourable Majority Leader has not given us an indication of when the media review will be presented. We know that under the Public Financial Management Act 921, Section 28, the Finance Minister must not later than 31st July present the media review and fiscal policy statement of the government. We still do not have an indication when that will be done. This is the last day of June. Next week we enter July, and that is a matter we need to know so we can prepare adequately for that presentation. I dare say that that is the most important highlight for this particular meeting. So if the Honourable Majority Leader can give us an indication in that direction. Then, Mr. Speaker, the second issue relates to the friendship associations. There are a number of embassies and ambassadors who have raised concern. Our counterparts have inaugurated their associations and they are waiting on us. Some even want to visit, some even want to invite us, the counterpart associations here, to deepen parliamentary diplomacy and our international engagements for that matter. So I want to find out from the Majority Leader if there is an indication on when the friendship associations will be concluded and inaugurated, so that we can make progress on that matter. It's unfortunate the Deputy Majority Leader has stepped out, but I know he chairs the board for the friendship associations, and that matter, Mr. Speaker, has dragged, and a number of ambassadors and high commissioners are raising concern. So if we can really attach some urgency to that matter, it will be helpful. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to raise a concern on the number of statements that are being admitted, a concern, and also make an appeal to you, because the number of statements admitted are not encouraging. Statements on the floor of Parliament are a strong parliamentary tool that is available for parliamentarians to use. We put our research teams to work. They come out with statements, we scrutinize them, file them, and yet we are not given the opportunity to make those statements on the floor of Parliament. I am a new parliamentarian, a first-timer. I have written over 6 statements, yet I have not been able to read any of them on the floor of Parliament. It is very discouraging for us as new MPs and for our research assistants when they go out to do the research work and yet their work is not appreciated. It is a tool that we use to get to our constituencies. It's a tool we use to drum home with national issues and international issues. Well, so, Mr. Speaker, this is an appeal to you.
You are not making a statement now, are you? You have been given opportunity already. Yes, Honorable Ketiam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I didn't actually hear that my colleague mentioned my name, but apparently when he was talking about the questions, when he was talking about the questions, he did mention my name. Mr. Speaker, I can assure my colleague that if ever any question comes to my desk, I would immediately react to it and get it answered in here. As far as I'm concerned, there hasn't been any question either from him or from any of my colleagues which is at the ministry. I haven't seen anything. So be assured. I mean, I know how it is. If there's any question, I will deal with it.
Yes, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I just want to let the majority leader, who is the leader of government business in Parliament, to explain to us, and if possible, invite the Minister for Local Government, Rural Development, to explain to us why today is the end of second quarter of 2023, but the fourth quarter of 2022 Common Fund to members of Parliament projects is yet to be paid. I don't know of that of the City Assemblies, but I am particularly, I'm aware the fourth quarter of the 2022 to the City Assemblies have been paid, but members of Parliament's share is yet to be released. Can Honourable Majority Leader to invite the local government ministry to come and explain to us when the fourth quarter of 2022 will be released, so that members can support. It has started raining, with a lot of schools blocks being ripped off by the winds, which needs urgent attention. Sometimes 5 packets of roofing sheet, 10 packets of roofing sheet. These are some of the things we use the money for.
Honourable member.
And so, if the honourable leader can respond to
your
that.
point is well made. Thank you.
Sorry?
Your point is well made.
So you support me. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for supporting me, Speaker.
Honourable Zwera.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will beg to crave your indulgence to accept my contribution. I realize that you didn't have a lot of appetite for the contribution being made by my senior colleague, Honorable Helen Ntosu. But, Mr. Speaker, there are real issues around this House, and I think we need to bring and have them resolved.
Honourable, if we make it a business, a part of the business of the House, you have the opportunity to speak. But the business of the House as presented does not include our housekeeping matters. And I think Honourable Yaboama drew our attention to where we should go with housekeeping matters. The House Committee, chaired by, and I think you should use your leaders to bring these matters up. Please, let's not clog this space. Today I do not intend to sit beyond 2 p.m. So if we are going to do any business, let's please go on as quickly as possible. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the rendition by Honorable Sansin Ahi that we invite the local government minister to answer why the delays of the fourth quarter last year's common fund. I think the correct or appropriate minister to be invited should be the Minister for Finance, because it has been made clear here that the Ministerial Assembly Common Fund is an independent constitutional creation, and therefore, and we also know that she doesn't have audience here. The formula was approved. When you are talking about releases of funds to that fund, is the Minister for Finance who must respond to that. So I just want to draw the House's attention that the appropriate minister to respond to why the delays should be the Minister for Finance. And just as we did yesterday, by drawing his attention that if by next month it is not released, then the media review wouldn't know what to review, because what was approved is not released. So what are we going to review? So the chairman of the business committee must take steps by inviting the Minister for Finance himself to this House, and if possible, to be accompanied by the Assembly Common Fund, Mr. Speaker. I think it's appropriate, and I must thank him for that.
Chairman of the Business Committee may want to respond now.
Mr. Speaker, I think the first person who raised issues after the presentation of the business statement was the Honorable Ntuso, and he was relating to matters connected with sanitation. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, let me draw the attention of the Honorable Member, because you tried to intervene and he was persistent. Our rules are clear. After we present the business statement, comments should relate to this. They should be relevant to this. And a colleague should know he's an elder in this house. Not only in the church, but here in this house. He's also an elder. And may I draw her attention to order 92.4, that what intervention that she makes should have relevance to the matter being discussed in the House. We don't jump into any boat and start paddling. It should have relevance to the matter before us. Mr. Speaker, the colleague, Boli Bamboy, the colleague from Boli Bamboy, Mr. Speaker, also read his own intervention also suffered from the same malaise. You are talking about a backlog of questions. 700 years or 700 hours are indicated at the very outset. But what has it got to do with the presentation of business event? But Mr. Speaker, I said those questions were outstanding. I didn't say that they had been admitted by the Speaker. Please, the admissibility of questions rests solely with the Speaker. I only related to the number of questions that have been filed, not admitted. The distinction should be known to you. Questions filed is not the same as questions admitted by the Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, again, let me assure my colleague that the Business Committee, the questions that we program are questions that are admitted by the Speaker and ferried to us. Then we program them for ministers to respond to. The Speaker, just yesterday when we met, the table officers were to write to some of the ministers. So to conclude that even questions that are programmed have been ferried to the ministers maybe 2-3 weeks or a month ago is also inaccurate. Even as of yesterday, when we had the business committee meeting, we were indicating to them to write to the ministers. So the questions are not with the ministers. That is what you should understand. So to go on, that merry-go-round, certainly, and I would entreat you that the questions that are filed and admitted by the Speaker, they are lodged in the book. You can follow up and see where it is. You have done that. You have no business raising it here. With the greatest respect to you. If you have done that and you meet a wall, it's not for me. It's not for the business committee. With the greatest respect. Mr. Speaker, I think we have been tolerating this for a very long time. Members should know where we are with the questions. You don't just get up and start accusing the business committee or ministers that they are not responding to your questions. Mr. Speaker, however, there's a principle that we should also address ourselves to. So many questions. If we have many questions admitted by the Speaker, what do we do? If you want to really have good responses to questions, programming about 20 questions a day when we are limited to just 1 hour, it's also a bit problematic. Members will want to have responses to their questions. But if you want to ask searching questions to have the best responses from the ministers, crowding space with so many questions then also becomes a bit of a problem. We should have a good balance of questions that are asked. I do know that in some jurisdictions, questions are asked or restricted to specific dates and not every day in the week. What do we do as a house? Mr. Speaker, the bill on promotion of proper sexual values and so on, the member, the Honorable Bajira, who raised it, wanted to know why it's not been programmed for next week. Speaker, we had it this week, but we couldn't make any progress because the chairman and the ranking member had traveled out. The ranking member is expected to be back this evening. We hope that beginning next week, we'll be able to make some progress on that. The Speaker and I have had some discussions about what to do if they return. Happily, this morning, the chairman is here with us. In fact, I understand he came ahead of his other colleagues last night. So when the ranking member comes, we'll put our heads together, plus the Speaker, to see where to locate the bill. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Abraka wants to know when the media review will be happening. I think it's slated for a Thursday. Is 26th a Thursday or 27th? It's one of them. Either 26th or 27th. Check for me if it is 26th or 27th, which is a Thursday, the last Thursday of July. It's 27th. Right. So it's 27th. In fact, yesterday I even made a mistake. In communicating to the Minister of Finance, I said 26th. But when I reclined, I think I saw that I had made a mistake. So it's rather 27th of July. We'll have the mid-year review. The inauguration of the Friendship Associations, the Speaker, again, further to the discussion that the Speaker and I have had on it, it's intended for us to do the inauguration next week. We're not too sure whether it should be either Wednesday or Thursday. Upon the return of the Speaker, we'll make a firm determination, and an announcement would come ahead of the inauguration. The Speaker, we need to give sufficient time because some of the ambassadors would want to participate in the event. So it should be either Wednesday or Thursday. I should think that in all probability, because the Speaker will have to come for us to make the final determination and then also transmit information to the various embassies, I guess Thursday will be a much better time, or date, I should say. The Speaker, another person asked about statements, numerous statements that he has written, which have not, he's not been allowed to read. Again, the admissibility of statements rests with the Speaker. So when you come and raise this matter, Speaker, you are indicting the Speaker for that, and I think that is not acceptable. You must use the usual channels to investigate to see where we are. Otherwise, that statement itself would serve as an indictment on the Speaker, and I don't think you can question the conduct of the Speaker in that way. You don't know what is happening, and you may use the whips to trace and track where the statement is. The Speaker, the Honorable Ahi Thomas or something. Is it Thomas or something? He read about the release of the fourth quarter common fund, that's the project fund. I'm aware that when the funds are released, the MPs are also provided with some facility to monitor. I don't want to go further on that, but he knows what I mean. he knows what I mean. You are not interested in that. No, I'll not go further on that, but you know what I mean. Mr. Speaker, I guess usually the whips will follow up with this. So I would Mr. Speaker, I would urge the whips to follow up on where we are with that. But I think the attention was drawn to the fact that really is the Minister of Finance that we should be speaking to. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, I didn't hear what intervention that Honorable Zuera made.
She was repeating what Honorable Ntoso said. Housekeeping matters.
Oh, okay. So the response then should satisfy her own inquiry. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, if members want to file a committee, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the questions that you may.
File a question on the business committee
on sanitation matters in the House.
Honourable members, the business statement as presented is adopted. Yes. It was agreed that we go straight to public business.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, may we proceed to item 9.
Honourable members, at the commencement of public business, item 9, laying of papers, presentation of papers. 9A. Is the Standing Orders Committee ready to present its papers? Yes, leader, you may guide me. Which paper is ready to be presented?
Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Minister of Information has
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I intend to lay the annual report on the implementation of the RTI Act 989.
Is it programmed? It's not in my program.
I was informed, Mr. Speaker, by leadership.
Mr. Speaker, that's why we are praying for your leader. Wait.
Yes, I want your guidance.
Mr. Speaker, what we have here is statement by the Minister for Information on the implementation of the Right to Information Act 2019, Act 989. So this is a ministerial statement. So I thought he was coming under statement. But if it's to present the annual report of the RTI, that one, it must find space on the other paper and must be laid and referred to the Committee on Communication. So the two are different.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, may I vary the application? It's come to my attention that he's rather making a statement. Yes, so we come. Yes, under 8.
It's a report, but he wants to speak to it by the laying of the report.
So you make he's coming under order 72.
That the report, the annual report. Yeah.
I discussed with him. I discussed with him.
It's an annual report.
Yes, I discussed with him and he agreed. With minority leader. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I discussed with him and we agreed. That is why he's making the application. Mr. Speaker, I'm just informing my respected colleague, the Chief Whip, on the minority side, that the minority leader and I had an agreement on this. Yes.
It's an annual report, but you speak a bit to it.
Mr. Speaker, at the conclave, the understanding was for us to, after the business statement, go straight to the accreditation bill. But subsequently, the deputy, my majority now to me, the Honorable Okonkoma, will want to give a brief statement on RTI, which I said I'm fine with it, but only for me to see the statement that is quite voluminous. So, Mr. Speaker, he should, if he's going to speak to it, he should as much as possible summarize it and probably make referral to a committee so that we can deal with it. Thank you, Speaker.
So what are you suggesting? You're varying the agreement we reached and admitting to make a statement. Very well. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make this very brief statement on the implementation of the RTI Act for the year 2022. I'm here in accordance with Section 77(4) of Act 989 to update Parliament on the implementation of the Act for the year 2022. Mr. Speaker, for the right to Information Act to function properly, 3 major pillars must be up and standing. The supply side pillar, that supplies the information when it is requested. The demand side pillar, that refers to people requesting for the information. And then the regulatory side pillar, that is the RTI Commission. For the purposes of this year's update, I will refer to the annual report of the Access to Information Division, which we've already circulated to members through their pigeonholes as at last week, and then the Right to Information Commission's annual report for the year 2022 as well. Right Honourable Speaker, very briefly, on the supply side, the ATI division of the ISD has embarked on 5 major tasks in the year gone by: the recruitment and deployment of information officers, the provision of support to information, the inclusion of RTI compliance as a KPI in the Chief Director's performance agreement, and the development of the online records management systems, in addition to the engagement of stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, in terms of the work that the regulator has done, the RTI Commission has done in the year gone by, the regulator has secured the prosecutorial mandate from the Attorney General of the Republic, has also conducted compliance surveys, determined review applications that have come before it, secured additional logistics for its operations, promoted the Right to Information Act and its infrastructure, and issued guidelines for the compilation and publication of information units. Mr. Speaker, thirdly, in terms of the number of requests that have appeared at the ministries, departments and agencies, as well as the MMDAs in the year gone by, I'm happy to inform the House as follows. In the year under review, 382 out of an expected 683 institutions, representing 55%, submitted annual reports to the RTI Commission. Of the complying 382 institutions, 129 received applications for information. These institutions in total received 783 applications. The Ghana Tertiary As I mentioned, Mr. Speaker, this amounts to a total of 783 applications that were submitted. Out of the 783 requests received by the various public institutions, 669 were approved by the information officers of the public institutions, either rejected, transferred, referred, or deferred in accordance with the Act. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, in the year ahead of us, the ATI of the ISD intends to operationalize the online records management system, which would make it easier for people to apply and receive requests online. We would also be presenting the legislative instrument for the RTI Act to Parliament before this year is over. The RTI Commission also intends to open field offices in Kumasi and Sunyani to bring services closer to the Ghanaian people. We'll continue with public sensitization, and we'll work to populate the outstanding 333 public institutions with information officers, finances allowing. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to make this very brief statement. Mr. Speaker, may I also lay a copy of the statement on the table for members to have copies to apply themselves accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable members. What did you lay, honourable minister? Kindly lay it on the table. Thank you. Honourable members, when you get copies, then we can program it for discussion. But now we want to proceed with a public business that is being agreed. Honourable members, the Ghana Accreditation Service Bill 2023 at the consideration stage. Yes, Chairman of the Committee, have you reconsidered Clause 5 or we should proceed with Clause 33? Should we proceed with Clause 33? There was Clause 5 outstanding. Are you reconciled Clause 5 or we should proceed?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. After consultation among ourselves, it has been decided to delete it completely.
Clause 5 to delete Clause 5 completely.
Delete completely. Right.
Very well. So we'll continue from then. Clause 5.
Deleted. Clause 5 said deleted. Yeah, so.
The Speaker, Clause 5, amendment proposed, delete the whole clause.
Honourable members, the amendment proposed is Clause 5, paragraph A, for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Speaker.
Yes.
This is a standard provision, and so I pray the chairman to justify why we want to delete paragraph A, because this is an existing department that by this enactment, we are converting into a service. So the existing staff will have to be carried along.
Yesterday, the evidence was that there's no such agency in existence at all. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. Are members paying attention? I'll put the question again. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now, item II. There's paragraph B. Or you're deleting the entire clause 5. Very well. Yes, Honorable Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, the B, I think yesterday, the understanding was that they were going to get, it's a new thing they are starting. So surely they will have people seconded from existing organizations. I'm not sure whether the chairman just wants to have it as public officers transferred from seconded, seconded to the service, meaning that he want to take off other. I'm not sure if the leaving other there makes any difference. I can see that you get people seconded, but I don't see other public officers. It doesn't hurt it. No, the whole of the 5 is not going.
Apparently, the intended amendment is that the entire clause 5.
Oh, so that is a new proposal we are making.
That's right.
Okay.
So it didn't come out like it came out as if we are deleting only 5A, but you want the entire clause 5 deleted. But let me put the question again for the record to be correct. And the question is that clause 5 shall be deleted from the bill. All in favor say aye. All against say no.
So is it the case that you have a provision somewhere? Okay. That they said there's a provision somewhere. That's fine.
Honourable members, clause 5 is ordered to be deleted from the bill. Clause 33.
Mandatory accreditation of conformity assessment activities.
Amendment proposed. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, clause 33. Amendment proposed. Sub-clause 2, paragraph B, line 2. After regulation, insert government directives. And Mr. Speaker, again, amendment proposed, sub-clause 6, line 1. Delete service and insert minister.
Honourable members, for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Chairman, justify the present amendment. No, you should justify. Why are you adding government directive? You should justify.
Yes, Chairman. Chairman, we are waiting for you.
Chairman, Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the amendment proposed, which states that we put government directive, or we insert government directive after regulation, it's only to ensure that whatever decisions or whatever directions that are provided would be from. So, so in reading the whole clause 33, subclause 2. So clause 32, subclause 2 says that a notice published under subsection 1 shall A. describe the conformity assessment activity, and B. state the title and number of the applicable national standard, international standard, technical regulation, government directive or normative document.
Yes, for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Yes, Speaker, if we go back to clause 32 clause 2, sub B, sub 4, IV. I see government directive there. And so if you want to carry the House along that it be inserted after regulation, then you'll be justified in saying so. But that is not the explanation you are giving.
Your explanation may be additional, but his explanation is also a valid one.
Yes, Speaker.
Any contrary opinion, otherwise I'll put the question. All in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now clause 33 as variously amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favor say aye. Oh. He moved them together.
He moved them together?
Yes.
Okay.
Clause 33 is as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I was with the Chairman and the Minister. For 32(3) yesterday, we amended to insert Gazette. So the service shall publish the accreditation schemes in the Gazette and on the website of the service. I was just asking whether the Minister and the Chairman, the committee will be minded if we included websites of the service in 33. Speaker, I think the point I'm making is, yesterday, for 32(3), we amended to include Gazette. So 32(3) now provides that the service shall publish the accreditation schemes in the Gazette and on the website of the service. Now 33 limits it to only Gazette. I'm asking whether we'll be minded to include, yes, consequentially. Yes, for consistency. I think that it should be done.
Very well. Yes, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think we have any objection to that. I think that we should include the website as well.
Very well.
Speaker, save that leader's rendition this morning is added website of the service, but the amendment captured by the votes and proceedings ended at website. So if we may have to simply add of the service as recorded here.
Because the website of the service has been created in 32.
Yes.
So when you mention the website, as a matter of it's the one which has been created already.
Yes, but in his rendition this morning added of.
Speaker,
yes.
The website of the service is in 32(3). We only included Gazette, right? This one refers only to the Gazette. And I'm saying that for consistency's sake, we should include website of the service.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm supporting what you're saying. I'm only saying that the amendment as captured yesterday omitted of the service. Yes, it's omitted of the service in addition to the website. So if that can be, if table office can take note of it, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, I guess that was an error.
And if I
Because the website of the service is already captured in the original bill.
Yes.
And nobody asked for any deletion. So I think it was an error, and the table office.
Mr. Speaker, I disagree with him in the sense that if you look at the 33.1 where the leader is trying to correct, the service already been mentioned. So publication here. I stay down. Stand down.
Very well. So clause 33 adversely amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 34.
Compliance with mandatory accreditation.
Amendment proposed. Chairman.
The Speaker, clause 34. Amendment proposed, subclause 4. Delete and insert the following. 4. A person who engages in or uses the results of a conformity assessment activity to which a mandatory accreditation applies shall A. Keep a record for a period of not less than 10 years, and B. Supply to the service any record that the service may require.
Honourable members for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Speaker, I support the amendment. Say that chairman should justify why the 10 years, if there is any basis. Yes, there has to be a basis. Mr. Minister, there has to be a basis.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure what my colleague is doing. He supports it, but then he is asking for justification. So on what basis does he support it when he doesn't have justification?
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I am baffled by his actions because he was part of the meeting. Indeed, when Mr. Speaker requested that we sit on this bill, you recommended that the head of or leadership of the Constitutional and the Committee should be part of this meeting. And prudently, they were there throughout. So I'm surprised that he played a very good role, a key role.
Very well. So
I'm surprised that he would come back.
It's all right.
But we'll explain. No,
now, this is not a committee meeting. This is a plenary.
Yeah. So simply put, Mr. Speaker, to answer him, we're only trying to break 4 down to explain what the modalities are supposed to represent. Thank you.
So, yes, Leader.
Speaker, is there any reason why they have omitted the obligation to do this in writing? Is there any reason? Otherwise, you may have to add in writing at the end of the B.
Yes, Chairman is asking, is there any reason why you want that to be
No objection, Mr. Speaker. No objection.
Very well. So, please propose the appropriate amendment. Kindly propose the appropriate rendition before I put the question. Where is the in writing to be inserted?
Mr. Speaker, we only want to add in writing to the B part to read supply to the service any record that the service may require in writing.
Can there be a record without writing? Supply to the service any record that the service may apply. A record suggests that there's some writing that is kept somewhere. Am I wrong?
Mr. Speaker, we're only saying that the service must require this in writing. They cannot do it verbally. The in writing here only affects the service, but not the records that's going to be supplied. If the service
just go by telling them that we need you to give us this record, they will be acting authorized. That's what this statement means. So the service will have to actually write to them to request for this record.
In that case, the writing would not be appropriately placed. You should have to place it elsewhere. Yes.
Speaker, where chairman places the in writing is dangling. And so you ought to be placed, supply to the service in writing any record that the service may require.
No, rather require in writing that, and I think the writing should even be up. A person who engages or uses a result of a conformity assessment activity to which a mandatory accreditation applies shall. No, but where does, in this case, where does the service come in?
Mr. Speaker, if the writing is causing difficulties, we should delete it. I don't really, because you cannot supply service or record by any other way. It has to be done one way or the other by some means.
Yes.
So if it is electronic, it is writing. If it is manuscript, it is writing. So we can leave that one out and continue.
Speaker, may I suggest that we stand it down and make progress? So that
Mr. Speaker, the writing doesn't really create much confusion or confusion. If we take it out, the sentence as it is makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
We'll leave it like that.
The Honourable Minister, I'm supporting you in this project.
Very, very helpful. You have been very,
I am supporting you. So I'm only saying that this is like an impediment. So let's stand it down and make progress. We can always come back to it.
Mr. Speaker, we like to maintain it as it is for you to rule on.
Honourable members, all in favour of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now put the question on clause 34 as amended. And the question is, clause 34 as amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favour say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 34 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 35.
Requirement for accreditation.
There's no advertised amendment to clause 35. Yes, Honourable Leader.
Speaker, just a consequential amendment, or if you like, addition to 35(2). That's a consequential amendment to include the website of the service.
Clause 35.
35(2).
Yes, Chairman, that's the proposal. What's your...
Mr. Speaker, no objection.
I'll direct that wherever we legislate publication, in addition to the Gazette, the website should be added by the draftsperson. Right. Yes, the website of the service be added. So, honourable members, the question is clause 35 as amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favour say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 35 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 36.
Application for license to use accreditation symbol.
Item proposed. Chairman.
The Speaker, clause 36, amendment proposed. Subclause 1, line 2. After symbol, insert of the service.
Honourable members, all in favour of the proposed amendment? Yes, Leader.
Speaker, the 36 I've just seen the use of a word meaning about the same thing though, which is not being employed before. In clause 3, dealing with the object of the service, we rather elected to use the word logo. Here we are talking about symbol. Even though it's about the same, I think we should be consistent. If it is logo, it should be logo, not symbol. We don't use symbol anywhere. Which one?
Mr. Speaker, I think that I want to support my leader, except that ever since I came in this morning, he's been complaining about logo, and I see that he's not comfortable with the logo. So if you want us to replace logo with symbol, to make the law consistent, I agree with him. We can't call logo one part and also use symbol another part. So I agree with him, and I see he's not comfortable with logo at all. So I will agree that anywhere we have logo, the Speaker, for want of a better word, let's use the word symbol.
Are you referring to the heading?
Mr. Speaker, we should know the industry terminology. If it is logo, so be it. And yesterday, he spent so much time defending the object. In 3, even though I disagreed, I thought that it shouldn't be an object. He insisted. I used the word logo as an industry term. Why do you come here and then use symbol? So rather, we should cling to logo.
Leader, shall we read 36 again? A conformity assessment body that intends to use an accreditation symbol in respect of conformity assessment activity shall apply to the service. So it is not the service's logo, but it is the applying company or agency's symbol. I think they are two different things.
Mr. Speaker, I think it should be logo, because logo is depicting the service, not the symbol, not the symbol. Symbol of what?
Yes, leader.
It doesn't even sound right to say accreditation logo. The accreditation symbol really rhymes well.
You see, the logo was used in respect of the service we are setting up. The symbol here is referring to the agency applying to be accredited, and the symbol that applying agency will bring them. So I think they are not the same things. Sure.
Yes. Speaker, in 3F, the point made by leader, I mean, because that is qualified by of the service. And we have subsequently qualified symbol with of the service. So the interment is truly in reference to not the one applying, but rather of the entity. So if your explanation is carried, then we may have to differentiate the use of the symbols by redrafting the provisions properly to reflect the explanation you have given to the House.
Yes, I think it's the same. We are talking about two different ones. This entity we are setting up is the one which will accredit standardization agencies. So the logo is for the service we are setting up. Anybody which is applying for a license to be an so it refers to their symbol. So I think it should stay as it is. I think we are talking about two different things, unless.
Mr.
So,
Speaker,
yes.
my attention has actually been drawn to, if you have a copy of the original bill, there is a definition of accreditation symbol. What seems to, Mr. Speaker, clarify the issue that we are grappling with? Page 27. Page 27, yeah, accreditation symbol. Yeah.
Yes, accreditation symbol means a symbol issued by an accreditation body for use by an accredited conformity assessment body to indicate the accreditation of a conformity assessment body. All right. So, yes, so the amendment 36, 1 line 2. Is that we should add of the service?
Yes, of the service, yes.
Yes.
But the symbol still stands.
Very well. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say no. I think the ayes have it.
Not for the service, it's for the applicant.
No, yeah. The addition is to the scheme of the service, not.
No, Mr. Speaker, to make the leader even more comfortable, I'm going to ask that we put an interpretation for accreditation logo in the interpretation column, so that we'll have for the symbol and the logo as well.
Very well. So let's proceed. Item VII.
Speaker, before we proceed, a consequential amendment. We may have to go back to 35C, line 2, so that consequentially 35.3, sorry, so that line 2, where the symbol appears, consequentially will carry of the service, just for the sake of consistency. Sorry.
No. There's no need to do that, Honorable. Let's proceed. Yes, Honorable.
Speaker, there's a need for us to do that.
You don't have the floor, please. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you see here we are not referring to only the symbol of the service, Ghana's. Any other accreditation symbol from even foreign. They have the mandate here.
Honorable, I said move on to the next one.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. I'm guided. What's it there? 36. Mr. Speaker, clause 36, amendment proposed, subclause 4, line 1, delete 5 and insert 3.
19, page 19.
Yes.
Honourable Speaker, this is timelines for application for accreditation. And we're saying that within 5 days they should respond. Now you are reducing the days from 5 to 3 days. I don't understand the justification for that. 5 days sounds very reasonable to me.
It's only to acknowledge receipt, though, not to reply. 3 days, acknowledge receipt. What do you think? Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support the 3 days. This issue was copiously debated, and we arrived at this 3 days because today we are in a global world, and we want to do our services in a way and manner that other people outside will be attracted to it. Elsewhere, you apply for a service, and the next moment you acknowledge. Why should we use 5 days, 5 good days? And so I think that the 3 days should stand. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, we want to be realistic in passing laws. We know our system is very slow. Now, to say 3 days and then know that from day one we will be breaking our own rules, is something that I'm worried about. I believe that if we state that within 5 days a response must go, we give ourselves a breathing room and operate within the law. If we say 3 days and we are not meeting that deadline, clearly it doesn't help anybody.
But why shouldn't we be able to meet acknowledgement?
Well,
you receive it within 3 days, say, I have received it. Why shouldn't we be able to meet that?
Because this is why the lady who is supposed to respond, the day the letter will arrive, he will be going to the hospital.
Why a lady? Why not?
The next, well, the man. The next day he will be in the office, but he will be in a meeting, so he can't get to the document. In fact, he will get to the document.
You will allow that person to be at post.
He will get to the document on the 4th day.
So if you are permitted that, then on the 7th day she'll be feeding her daughter. So I don't know. Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, I think that we should be moving towards automation, where as soon as you apply, there is a text message or something to acknowledge receipts. If we are not able to do that, I don't see why we should be spending 5 good working days just to acknowledge that you have received an application. And how many days are you now going to use to process it? Mr. Speaker, we know that because of doing business in this country today, and standards that everywhere people use to ensure that customer service is delivered and delivered appropriately, they look at time spent. And so I think that if we are not reducing it from the 3 days to 2 days or 1 day, then the 3 days should stand. Thank you.
Very well, honourable members. All in favour of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now, the question is clause 36 as amended. Shall stand part of the bill. All in favour, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. Clause 36 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 37.
Consideration of application.
There is no proposed amendment to clause 37. Clause 37 shall stand part of the bill. All in favour say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 37 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 38.
Grant of license.
Amendment proposed. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, before I take 38, please indulge me to correct 37, line 2, after symbol, the comma must be off. The comma must be after symbol. Mr. Speaker, clause 38, amendment proposed, subclause 4, line 1, delete 4 and insert beyond.
What's the meaning of beyond?
So the clause will read as, where the process of assessment of an applicant is delayed, not for, but beyond 6 months. Well, I think this would have to do with drafting, but as far as I'm concerned, the committee thought that in restricting ourselves to 6 months, which is for 6 months, we should look beyond the 6 months, so beyond 6 months. But if, for want of a better word, we can put for more than, it's also acceptable. It all sounds the same to me.
Yes, honourable member for
thank you.
Clerical.
Yes. Thank you, Speaker. Beyond normally deals with distance rather than time. So I think in this context, a more elegant may would be more than, as opposed to beyond, more than.
No objection. We like to correct amendment.
Yes, propose the new one.
Yes, so amendment proposed with us read delete, after 4, include more than.
Yes. Honourable members, insert more than. after 4 in subclause 4 line 1. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now, clause 38. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, we're just dealing with 36.4, and we're looking at facilitating business, the transaction of business. What explains the long period of 6 months in 38.2? The service shall, within 6 months after the receipt of an application for a license, carry out an assessment of the applicant and inform the applicant in writing of the decision itself. What explains that long period of 6 months? I think that it should be possible to limit that span of time. To say about 3 months, why 6 months?
Mr. Speaker, during our deliberation, it came out that after acknowledging receipt of an application from, within 3 days, the service during their assessment could ask for further documents or further clarification. This is saying that if the response from the applicant stays beyond 6 months.
No, not there. He's referring to 38.2. The service shall, within 6 months after the receipt. It means that when I apply, you will take maximum 6 months to process and issue the.
But that's actually the point. Within. But if it is thought that is too much, because I accept the point he's making. We're talking about the ease with which we do business in the country. So if 6 months is too much, I have no business, I have no problem. We can do it 3 months. 3 months, I have no problem. So we can amend it and make it within 3 months.
Unless there's some industry practice which will take that long, we don't know.
Mr. Speaker, you are looking at situations whereby the service will be overwhelmed. It could happen that at a point they have over 100 applicants that they have to assess at the same time. If it so happens that they can't do it within 1 month or they can't attend to 10 of them within a month, then it becomes a problem. So that is why they've given themselves 6 months within which they're supposed to come back with a response. That is only an open window to give them the leverage to be able to operate. But it doesn't mean that they are going to wait for 6 months to bring a response. They are only trying to buy time for themselves in case they are overwhelmed. I don't think that assessment, the service is going to sit down, and wait for 6 months before responding to your.
And in this country, somebody may deliberately delay your process because he has the opportunity, or he has the law backing him. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, just to let the chairman understand, the Minister of Information just laid something here this month. Are you aware that today is the last day for him to lay it? That's why he laid it. Once you pass a law and gives a certain period, the chances are that those who are supposed to act on a certain information or take a certain decision will probably wait until the end of that period. In fact, you heard a colleague just ask that the mid-year review of the budget should be somewhere within next month. But then, as the leader was talking, he didn't even talk about when the mid-year review will be done. So let's be sure that if you say 6 months, chances are that people 7th, okay, 27th. I will withdraw that part. Mr. Speaker, if you say 6 months, Mr. Speaker, many people would attempt to get that done after 6 months. So let's give them a period of time that. Yes.
We accept the logic of the argument. We will amend it to 3 months.
Very well. So, clause 38, subclause 2, line 1, delete 6 and insert 3. All in favor of the proposal? Yes.
It's in order.
Very well. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Yes, Honorable Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I was just drawing attention to what we just did in 4. 38.4. Is it? what we just did for the 6 months. So it should also conform to 3 months. What consequential? Yes.
No, but 4 is talking about failure of the applicant.
We should also limit his inactivity to within 3 months. Yes.
Where the process of the assessment of an applicant is delayed for 6 months due to inaction of the part of the applicant, the service shall terminate the process and notify the applicant. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, it's not on the part of the applicant. It says where the process of assessment of an applicant is delayed. Delayed by who? By the service, not the applicant.
Due to inaction.
Yes, by who?
By the applicant.
Okay, where the process of assessment of an applicant is delayed for 6 months due to inaction on the part of the service shall terminate the process. Mr. Speaker, where is 6 months coming from? Is 6? Can I finish? Tell secondary school. Mr. Speaker, where the 6 months is emanating from the construct of 2.
No, 3.
Yes. I won't ask you. Please, I'm telling you that the 6 months first is employed in 2. So you are following from there, where in and we were saying that the person applying, the applicant, may be required to provide additional information to the service. And that is why we're justifying the 6 months. Now we have brought it down to 3 months. So I'm telling you that consequentially, secondary school.
No, Mr. Speaker, if you
leader.
If we follow the logic of what the leader is saying, then maybe that 6 months should be pruned down, so down to even 2. If it says 3, I accept it. But listen, tell my directors not be sending so much of this into me again. I won't be reading them, because you should have been dealt with before we got here. So I'm writing, I will read, So I think we can stick to the 3 months. Yeah.
The Speaker, please, if you wouldn't, just give me 1 minute. If you will indulge me, Mr. Speaker, if you consider the fact that we reduced the 6 months to 3, that is on behalf of the service. Yeah. Now, when the service now starts or commences with this assessment, there's a possibility that they will request from the applicant further information, which 3 stipulate. Sure. Now, in giving the applicant the opportunity to provide information, we cannot restrict them also to 3 months. I'm coming. Listen. Wait a minute. I'm coming. No, Matthias. Let me finish my answer.
He has even clarified it, and I'm convinced that it should be reduced to 2 months, because the applicant is not going to take our time and delay anybody's time. So if they wait more than 2 months, it's their headache. So we are not even sticking to the 3 months now. We can do 2 months. They don't want it. That's their headache.
No, but to be
2 months, but 3 months is fine. Let's take 3 months. Let's make some progress. 3 months.
Well, 3 months, if you do not provide information, the process is aborted. Is that the... Very well, let me put the question and I'll take it. The question is, for line 2, delete 6, insert 3. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now I'll put a question on the entire clause 38. And the question is clause 38 as variously amended. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm looking at 5, where the service refuses to grant the license after an assessment. The service shall inform the applicant in writing of the reasons for the refusal to grant the license. No time frame, Mr. Speaker. We shouldn't leave it open at the discretion of the service. They must, within a certain stipulated time period, notify them. And I suggest 5 days.
Yes, they are proposing that the notice of refusal should be within 7 days.
Mr. Speaker, I have no objection. I think it's in order.
Yes.
Speaker, that is in order. And consequentially, if we go back to 2.
One at a time, please.
Very well.
Let's finish this one before we do anything else. Yes, so that is 5. Where the service refuses to grant a license after an assessment, the service shall, within 7 days, inform the applicant in writing of the right. So we will insert within 7 days after shall. Will that be appropriate? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When we say within 7 days, are we speaking about working days, or does it include weekends?
The Interpretations Act deals with that one. So, shall within 7 days. Very well. So, insert within 7 days after shall in subclause 5, line 2. All in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Yes. Any more? Yes, a firm up before.
Mr. Speaker, if we regard to 38.2, we have limited the times from 6 to 3. So I don't see the wisdom in leaving 6 months for the service within which to act. I think that we should limit that to also within 3 months. Sorry? Oh, it's been done. I'm guided. Thank you.
Yes. Any more? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm looking at 7, whether or not we should not put timelines to A and B, where it's suggesting that a conformity assessment body to which a license is granted shall, at the request of the service A, submit. Shouldn't we put timelines there? And then again the B, so that we don't leave it open. Let's look at it.
Yes, the technical people.
Mr. Speaker, submit. You can ask to submit. I think these things should operate within the confines of reasonability. I mean, submit, you submit. If we're going to have to put time limits, I'm happy to put time limits, but it's going to constrain a lot of what happens. He's suggesting that we should put time. What time limit has he got in mind? Because I don't have any time limit in mind.
Honorable Minister, I'm even worried about the use submit. When you say at the request of the service, A, submit the conformity assessment body for assessment. Is it something that you can lift and submit it to them, or what exactly do we intend to say?
The person being requested to submit whatever it is will know what is it that is demanded of them. a conformity assessment body to which a license is granted shall, at the request of the service, with the service here requesting you to provide whatever, you would submit the conformity assessment for assessment. And what is the difficulty? I don't.
Can you say avail or open the conformity assessment body? 7A, you say we should put a timeline, but if you're worried about how do you submit a body, that's my problem.
Yes, Speaker, I agree with you. That whole clause or sub-clause needs some explanation. If you say submit the conformity assessment body, I don't get it. Is it something that they have to submit or the whole body will have to be submitted? I don't get it. If we can get the technical people to explain this to us. Because the subsequent 1B is specific. Provide any information requested by the service. So here you are talking about information requested. But the B, what are you requesting for? What should be submitted?
Mr. Speaker, the conformity assessment body is an organization, it's an establishment. So you are submitting the whole establishment for assessment. And the B says that if there's any further document that you need to support them with, you support them with it. So the conformity assessment body is an organization or an outfit, an establishment, a company, something like that. You understand? So for the technicality here probably might be confusing, but it is not ambiguous at all. It is straight to the point that that conformity assessment body is the organization that is carrying out that business.
I'm wondering how you submit Parliament for examination. How will you submit it? Parliament is an organization. But you may open Parliament up for examination. Is that right? Something like that. But I'm wondering how you submit the organization.
Mr. Let's see if we can help with this. A conformity assessment body to which a license has been granted. So leader has been granted the license. Shall, at the request of the service, the service, granting at my request, he shall submit this assessment body for my assessment. No. So, provide any information requested by me, the service. That's what it means, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker, I think the word should not be submit. The intendment here is that it should be available to be assessed. That's the intendment. Yes, it should be available to be assessed. That's what we are saying. But we are employing the word submit as if a document must be transmitted. Something must be transmitted. But the intendment is that at the request of the service, you must be available so that we assess you. So the drafters should take a second look at redrafting that provision to convey the intent of this House. It's about availability. We must be available and accessible for us to review you. Chairman, why we are helping you when you are
Mr. Speaker, we've got to be careful about the true prone assessment words over there. One of them is a term of art, and one is a freestanding English language. So if we get that right, then we will be making some sense of it. The first one.
All right, is a term of art.
A term of art.
In that case, you may want to provide a definition so that
this one replete with the definition of the assessment body.
The bill is not for only people with the technical knowledge. It's a general law.
Yes.
And therefore, if I don't have the technical knowledge, I should still be able to read and understand. So in that case, submit
I understand, Mr. Speaker. So far as we understand that the first one is a term of art, we will see about the definition. And then, yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Speaker, I think the difficulty is submitting the body for assessment. How is it to be done? Maybe if you want further qualification, you could say submit the relevant information from the conformity assessment body for assessment. He was quarreling over the use of the word relevant, and you said the word was requisite or applicable. Yes. So,
well, leader, let's go around and acknowledge the school visitors who are here, because they've been here for a while. I understand some of them want to leave. So please confer whilst I acknowledge the school children who are here. Today we have a large number of schools visiting Parliament. 1, Achimota School. 2, Presbyterian SHS La. 3, Presbyterian SHS Osu. 4, Accra Girls High School, Senior High School. 5, Accra Wesley Girls Senior High School. And the leader is Sarita Amwakuhine from Africa Business Center for Developing Education. Okay. They are all from Clerical constituency. Oh, no wonder you are sitting in the front row today. There's Presbyterian Senior High Technical School at Kota. They are led by Mr. Nana Kwesibuating and Ethel Della, all from Ayensuano constituency. And the last one is the Pentecost Preparatory School, Kofrodia, led by Mr. Samuel Labi, the New Javin South. You're all welcome to Parliament. Yes, Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, I want to find out from the chairman and the minister. You have defined something here called accredited body, and the definition means an organization or facility that has been accredited by the service. This thing you are calling assessment body, are you sure you are not talking about accredited body? Because if it's accredited, pardon?
Mr. Speaker, if you go to page 28, there's conformity assessment body there that has been defined. And a conformity assessment body means a body that performs a conformity assessment activity, and that can be the object of accreditation. And you are submitting this body for that physical exercise. I don't see where the ambiguity is in this law, because the conformity assessment body has been defined here, and it is telling us what the activity is, conformity assessment activity is. If it's telling what conformity certification is, so one of the
problem is not what it means. Parliament has been defined, yes. So how do you submit Parliament for assessment?
Mr. Speaker, how do you do peer review? In doing peer review, let's use Parliament. Parliaments in Africa are indulging in peer review. If you want the Parliament of Ghana to peer review, you submit the Parliament of Ghana for peer review.
Is that the word that is used? Submit Parliament?
It's about access. It's access.
That is the Temasco definition that I can give to this, as far as leader is concerned.
Yes, honourable member for Clerical.
Speaker, I'm just wondering whether maybe an alternative word might be subject as opposed to submit. To subject it to as opposed to submit. It might, I think that would, it makes it easier when you put subject as opposed to submit.
Is that acceptable to you, Chairman? conformity assessment to which a license is granted shall, at the request of service, subject the conformity assessment body for assessment. Would that be sufficient for you?
Mr. Speaker, I think I agree with my lady, my honorable friend, to use subject, he said, right? Subject. It sounds more legal, more achievable. It takes out the confusion. So that's
very well. Yes, Honorable Bolibamboy, what's the matter?
Mr. Speaker, inserting the word subject there will not solve the problem. Who is taking the action in this particular is the service. So if it's the service, putting the subject will not correct the issue we want to catch. So we still have to look at it very well.
If you can you read it again?
So Mr. Speaker, to read a conformity assessment body to which a license is granted shall, at the request of the service, if we want to put in the subject A, subject the conformity assessment body for assessment. And I'm asking, who is taking the action here?
The body.
It is the body.
The conformity assessment body. Which is submitting the body or subjecting the body to assessment of the service.
Of the service. So it doesn't gel.
Yes, leader.
I believe that in the contest, submit is better than subject. In the contest, submit is better than subject. And I agree with my colleague from Bolibamboy. When you say that a conformity assessment body to which a license is granted shall, at the request of the service is requesting that the conformity body is subjected. Who does the suggestion? Is it the body itself or the service? It could be confusing.
No, well, I think it's clear. It's the service. The body. You
the
are
body
required.
is only requesting. The body is only requesting.
No.
That this must be done. Who does it? If you use the word request,
shall, at the request of the service.
Yes.
The body shall, at the request of the service. So
go on.
The body shall, at the request of the service, submit. This is what is provided here. So who is requesting is clear. Whom the request is made to is clear. Now, my challenge is the word submitting a body. That was my confusion. How do you submit a body?
Yes.
If it were a machine, bring the machine to me. If it were a vehicle, submit the vehicle. But bring the body. Are you carrying all the equipment in it? Or the personnel? Or how?
But, Mr. Speaker, at least the concept is understood. So we have to submit, to subject, and there's another one. Why can't we use one, Mr. Speaker? I mean, the honorable member from Clote suggested that subject. It's the equivalent of submit. So if the submit assessment is in critical confusion, I have no objection to using the subject.
Speaker, I think what we are looking for is access. The service provider wants to have access to you to be able to conduct the assessment. So the drafting must capture the sense of the house in this manner. So I think that subject, submit, if you run into interpretative matters, it will create problems. So we should defer this. No, if I say defer, why does everybody say no? We do this all the time. It's become a very contentious provision. So let's stand it down, make progress. Then let the drafters craft it.
Because what we speak of is having access to
Honorable
you.
Minister, kindly resume
Thank
your
you.
seat. Yes, are you done?
Mr. Speaker, what the technical people are saying that if we are knocking our heads together like this, why not use the phrase avail? If we won't take something, avail. You are happy with that?
I think avail is most appropriate.
That's fine. Let's use avail.
Yes. Yes.
Speaker, I agree with him. We can say that avail itself for assessment. It should avail itself for assessment, and we are good to go. So the avail, I agree.
Other members are putting the question on the proposed amendment. 7A, delete, submit, insert, avail.
Speaker, I earlier on proposed that we insert relevant information from.
Insert what?
The relevant information. When we were using submit, I said they should submit the relevant information from the conformity assessment. I think I would want to stand up on that. The 7A. I proposed earlier that we should insert the words relevant information. So submit the relevant information from the conformity assessment body for assessment. The Speaker, I want to drop it. I want to drop it because, and it was to help clear the cloud on the issue that you raised in respect of the conformity assessment body submitting itself, or as you're now saying, availing itself. Now, if it's availing or submitting, to me the value is the same. And I'm saying I'm dropping it because the activities involved, conformity assess in the conformity assessment, you cannot just say, you cannot just relate it to information, because if you go to the interpretation on page 28, it covers the entire remit of it. So I am withdrawing the proposed amendments so that we still have the
Very well. So the only proposed amendment on the table now is delete, submit, insert, avail. All in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now put the question on the entire clause 38. And the question is clause 38 as variously amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favor say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 38 as variously amended is ordered to stand. Yes.
Would the chairman agree if we just inserted the word other in B, provide any other information requested by the service? The B.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to differ in this request because if you consider the first part, which is avail the conformity assessment body for assessment, and the second one has to do with real information. The first one could happen to be not anything to do with information at all. So if you say other information, means that you have requested for some information up there at A, and you are coming to look for further and better particulars at B, and that's not the reasoning here.
Yeah, I understand.
I will not litigate it further, even though I disagree with him. But I will not litigate further.
Now I'll put the question again. Clause 38 as variously amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favor say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 38 as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 39.
Validity and duration of license.
There's no advertised amendment to clause 39. All in favor of clause 39 being a part of the bill say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 39 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 40.
Non-transferability of license.
There's no advertised amendment to clause 40. All in favor of clause 40 being a part of the bill say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 40 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 41.
Extension of scope of accreditation.
Clause 42.
Suspension of license.
Clause 43.
Reduction of scope or withdrawal of license.
Clause 44.
Appeal against decision of the service.
Clause 45.
Register of licenses.
Clause 46.
Indemnity.
Clause 47.
Restrictions on the use of certain words.
Clause 48.
Scheme of the service.
Honourable members, there are no advertised amendments for clauses 41 to 48. All in favour of the stated clauses being a part of the bill, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. Clauses 41 to 49 to 48 are hereby ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, clause 49.
Confidentiality.
Amendment proposed. Chairman.
Clause 49, Mr. Speaker. Amendment proposed. Subclause 1, line 5. Mr. Speaker, it should rather be after system, insert a comma. It says here the delete system and put system comma. So it means that after system, just put a comma behind it. And the same thing happens to subclause 2, opening phrase, line 4. You put a comma behind the system.
These are all the appointments, the amendments.
Yes, they come with commas, yes. It says a system practice.
Persons to do these clerical corrections. I so direct. So I'll put the question on clause 49. Clause 49 shall stand part of the bill. All in favor say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 49 is ordered to stand part of the bill. The draft person is ordered to make the clerical corrections contained in the subclause. Clause 50.
Impartiality.
There's no advertised amendment to clause 50. All in favor of clause 50 being a part of the bill, say aye. I didn't hear a voice vote. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 50 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 51.
Administrative penalties.
Amendment proposed. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, clause 51. Amendment proposed. Subclause 2, add the following new paragraph. A. Fails to keep a record or supply to the service any record contrary to subsection 4 of section 34.
Members, for the consideration of the House. All in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Item XII.
Mr. Speaker, clause 51 amendment proposed, subclause 2, paragraph A, line 2, delete 5 and insert 7.
Honourable members, for the consideration of the House. Yes, all in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Item XIII. The same correction, right?
Same corrections, yes.
Very well. I will put the question on clause 51, and then these are numbering. Yes, Deputy Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the subclause A, I wanted to suggest to Chairman if he would find it prudent to, instead of a record, rather amend same to read, fails to keep records or supply to the service.
Records.
I understand the drafting people now don't admit plural. So, once it is recorded, it's, yes. So the question is, all in favor of clause 51 as amended, being part of the bill, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The draft persons are hereby ordered to ensure the correct numbering of the clause. Clause 52.
Offences and penalties.
Mr. Speaker, let's go back. The and then record. I think to keep record is better than a record. I think that is it. So who refers to keep record?
Honourable Minister, these are clerical matters. I'll leave it to the draft persons.
Well, I think we should take note of it. It shouldn't be a record.
Thank you.
Record.
Clause 52, amendment proposed. Chairman.
Clause 52, Mr. Speaker. Amendment proposed. Insert comma after system. Paragraph F, line 1. Paragraph F, line 1. Delete system and insert system comma. So just put comma behind the system.
Is all the amendment?
Yes.
Very well. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now, clause 52 as amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favor, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. Clause 52 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. I'm directing henceforth all such clerical amendments will be taken by the draft person, so we save time. Clause 53.
Offences by a body of persons.
Clause 54.
Custody and use of common seal.
Honourable members, there are no advertised amendments to 53 and 54. All in favour of clause 53 and 54 being a part of the bill, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. Clause 53 and 54 are ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 55.
Regulations.
Yes, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, clause 55. Paragraph D, line 2, delete end.
Yes. Honourable members, for the consideration of the House. All in favour of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Item XVI.
Mr. Speaker, clause 55, amendment proposed. Add the following new paragraph after paragraph E. F. Prescribe any other body as a conformity assessment body.
Chairman, hold on. There's already an F. Are you deleting that F?
Yes. F now becomes G.
All right. Okay. So, honourable members, for the consideration of the House. All in favour of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now, the draft persons will rearrange such that after the insertion, the F will become G. I so direct. Yes, Honourable Leader.
Mr. Speaker, that's a minor thing. The 55, no, it's not 52. E. 55E. That's the regulation. Now we're talking about requirements of quality, health, safety, and the environment. Speaker, I just want the chairman to relate it to the object of the service in 3C. 3C, where he spoke about health, safety, and environment. So I would want to suggest that if they will agree with me, that we insert that word that is missing there, which is I'm talking about 55E. So quality. So that it will read to promote accreditation to support public policy objectives in terms of E. There's a missing word in 3C. I'm asking whether it may not help if we imported it to 3C. What's the missing word? The missing word there is quality. Quality. Yes. Quality. I don't know whether it sits there.
Mr. Speaker, I think that probably the headings for these clauses would do the answering. The 3 is talking about object of the service, and 55 is the minister may, on advice of council by legislative instrument, make rules to cover these. I don't see how that conflicts with 3. If you don't find the quality under the objects of the service, it doesn't mean that at a later point the minister cannot make LIs to cover the quality.
It's simply defining areas where the minister will make regulations, and it's been broadly defined. I don't see why you are going to bring that here.
Honourable members, I'm putting the question. All in favour of clause 55? Yes, Deputy Leader.
If we may pay extra attention to the suggestion by the leader, that 3C provides certain activities that the object seeks to achieve certain things. Now, what it seeks to put across is whether or not, indeed, if you look at 55E, we may perhaps look at repeating the same rendition.
Let's read 3C.
Yes.
So the objects of the service are to promote accreditation to support public policy objectives in terms of health, safety, and environment. And so now, what do you say is missing?
If you come to 55, the regulations to provide for technical regulations establishing the minimum requirements of quality. So quality is missing in the object.
The policy is to promote health, safety, and in is using the regulation to provide quality health. I think the policy will be the same, unless. So, honourable members, all in favour of clause 55 as amended, being a part of the bill, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. Clause 55 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 56.
Interpretation.
The Speaker, clause 56. Amendment proposed. Add the following new definition after African Accreditation Corporation. Applicable standard means a standard that is relevant or possible to implement within a given context. Still from yesterday when we said that we need to
Yes, honourable members, for the consideration of the House. All in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Item XVIII.
Clause 56, amendment proposed. Interpretation of conformity assessment activity, line 3. Delete educational and insert education.
Honourable members, for the consideration of the House. All in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, just want to ask whether we need the words that is not related to the education sector. Do we need it? Do we need conformity assessment activity to mean an activity conducted by a conformity assessment body when assessing conformity? I think that is enough. To say that is not related to the education sector, I think it's superfluous. It's superfluous because when you in one, the application in 1.2 provides that this act does not apply to the education sector. So why do you come here to say that the assessment does not relate to education? It's superfluous. So it should rather stop at line 2, assessing conformity. Just that. That is not related to the education sector. It's superfluous. It's not needed.
Yes, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, during our deliberation, I think this came up, but we were only trying to ensure that to steer away from the initial definitions as not having this act cover education or educational institutions, because educational institutions already have their accreditation body. We wanted to redefine or couch a word that would shift away from having the law also cover the educational sector. That's why we are changing all educational to education.
So, you say we should delete any relation to education because we've already said at the beginning that this bill has no relation to education. That's what it suggests.
That's the point I'm making. That in 1.2, at the very outset, you are saying that the act does not apply to the education sector. So when you have that bold statement, you don't need now to come to 56 in interpretation to stress it by saying that conformity assessment activity means an activity conducted by a conformity assessment body when assessing conformity that is not related to education sector. You don't need that phrase. Okay, so that's the point I was making. But the chairman was not following what I was saying.
Mr. Speaker, yes. I think we agree with you.
All in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now the question is, clause 56 as amended shall stand part of the... Yes, Chief Whip.
A while ago, the chairman moved the motion to delete clause 5. Clause 5 entirely. Okay. Will you consider deleting? No.
Kindly let me finish with this one.
Okay. No, because
all in favor of clause 56 as amended?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. What I want to say is in clause 56.
Okay.
There's a definition here, Ghana National Accreditation Service, because you deleted it because the argument was that it existed only by registration. It never existed. But you are now defining it here because we never use it anywhere else. The only place we used it is where you did. No. Mr. Speaker, the point is that it is not used in this act. The only place it was used is 5, where you deleted.
In fact, wait, yes. So Ghana National Accreditation Service means the Ghana National Accreditation Service incorporated under the Companies Act 992. Yesterday, there was an issue that there's no such. So where are we defining it here? Is there any such company? Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, we have established the Ghana Accreditation Service under Section 2 of this Act. Subsequent to that, we have been using the word service instead of the full complement Ghana Accreditation Service. And so he's defining service wherever it appears to mean Ghana Accreditation Service established under Section 2. I think that's the import of it.
What is here is the Ghana National Accreditation Service means the Ghana National Accreditation Service incorporated under the Companies Act 2019, Act 992. That is page 28.
59.
No. Wait.
We deleted it. It was in 5. We deleted it. It's not used anywhere else.
Mr. Speaker, the Ghana National Accreditation Service has already been incorporated. It was incorporated in 2019. But we were considering the fact that no employees or no staff have been appointed or employed into that service yet. So the 5 was dealing with the fact that assistant staff after this act to the new Ghanas. But in our cross checks, we realized that yes, even though the company has been incorporated in 2019, they have not officially employed any staffs yet. So we can't have that clause sitting there at 5. That's why we took it out. Indeed, when we come to 58 and 59, I'm sure the minister himself is going to pronounce on it that we'll take those entrance clauses out and just leave it as it is.
So that is the point. We are at 56 now, where an interpretation of that non-existent body has been defined. So we should delete it.
Mr. Speaker, I see the point, but I was wondering if it had not been mentioned elsewhere beside the 5. That's what
it has been mentioned at 59, transitional
No, that
provisions.
one we'll deal with it. We'll take a dramatic decision on that one.
But before that, it was removed from
the
earlier.
5.
Yes.
Exactly. I understand that. But I'm struggling to find that if indeed you are right that it hasn't been mentioned anywhere else except, of course, in the 59. Because 59 is, well, I'm telling you, Mr. Speaker, now 59 is going to go. 59 is going to go. So if it goes and you are clear that these are the only sections which have that statement made, then I'm happy to delete it in the interpretation. Yeah, that I understand.
The question is that Ghana National Accreditation Service, delete. Is that right? Yes.
When you delete it, you realize that all along we'll be mentioning service.
No.
The agency you're setting up is called a service. This one is Ghana Accreditation Service Bill. So the service refers to the bill. As for what was done in a private company, it ceases to.
We respond to the interpretation of Ghana's accreditation.
That's the point. Yes,
very well. So we are deleting Ghana National Accreditation Service on page 28. All in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now, clause 56, adversely amended, is ordered to stand part of the bill. All in favor? Yes, Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, let me take us.
Now I'm asking you to approve.
Okay.
As a clause 56 as amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favor say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 56 as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 57.
Repeal.
Yes, 57.
Sorry, I want to take you a little bit back. Clause 51(3). It's been suggested that we end it at imposed and remove as a civil debt. It makes the sentence quite ambiguous. Superfluous. Where a person fails to pay an administrative penalty imposed under subsection 1 or 2, the service shall recover the amount imposed. Full stop. But as a civil debt makes it really superfluous.
So the proposal is to delete as a civil debt. Do you want to delete? Because we are using penalty units, it may imply also that you may use the criminal system, but you want to be recovered as a debt. So I think that it should be there because penalty unit is used in the criminal system and it's also used, but you insist that you want this to be retained as a civil debt. I think it costs us nothing to leave it there, right? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, where a person fails to pay an administrative penalty imposed under this, it shall be recovered, the service shall recover the amount imposed. Well, it sounds to me to be straight civil litigation. So why, that's what we realize that it might be tautologous if we add that to in a civil proceedings and then you say in a civil action. So I'm hearing that there might be some confusion with the criminal. So we just simply want to put it at the amount imposed. Full stop.
Using penalty. Penalty usually comes with sanction. And so if you
qualified by the word administrative, so maybe not exactly the criminal one that I think Speaker is talking about.
Okay, so as a civil debt.
The administrative, I think that's the thing. But you can't have an administrative penalty, which is a criminal, criminal connotation.
It means that
tell me, Mr. Speaker, what do you have on your mind?
Well, I fear when it comes to generating confusion about interpretation, lawyers are very good at it. So if you want to make it clear, leave it clear. That's it. Yeah.
So Mr. Speaker, we maintain the original rendition.
I think so. Very well. So we'll go to clause 57. Clause 57 has been called out already. Your amendment, please.
Mr. Speaker, clause 57, amendment proposed. Line 1. Delete subparagraph XII and insert subparagraphs VII and XII.
Yes, honourable members, for the consideration of the House. All in favour of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The amendment is carried. Now, clause 57 as amended shall stand part of the bill. All in favour say aye. All against say no. Yes.
Just for if you give me the opportunity, just to say that the clerk should look through the bill. If rating agencies have not been used anywhere in the bill, it's been defined. Maybe they should delete it before it goes to the president, because I haven't seen rating agencies used anywhere in the bill, but it's been defined in the interpretation column.
Very well. Let me order clause 57 to stand part of the bill. Now, your address under clause 56, rating agencies have been defined. So the clerks shall look at it critically, the draft persons shall look at it critically, and if rating agencies have not been used anywhere in the bill, it should be removed. Now, clause 58.
Transitional provisions.
Honourable members, there's no...
Oh, Mr. Speaker, there is an amendment to it. I ask the House to delete the entirety of 58 and, of course, the entirety of 59.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, that was why I was on my feet. I think, given the fact that 5 was deleted, there wouldn't be the need to allow this thing to stand. So 58 should go.
Very well. Honourable members, all in favour of the proposed amendment say aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. Clauses 58 and 59 are hereby deleted. Now, do we have a short title?
An act to establish the Ghana Accreditation Service to provide for an efficient and effective accreditation system for the accreditation of conformity assessment bodies, to monitor conformity assessment activities, and to provide for related matters.
Honourable members, all in favour of the long title being a part of the bill, say aye. Aye. All against say no. The ayes have it. The long title is ordered to stand part of the bill. There are no schedules, right? There are no schedules. Very well. Honourable members, that brings us to the end of consideration of the Ghana Accreditation Service Bill 2023. Honourable members, there's an addendum to the other paper. Other paper addendum. 1. Motion by the Minister for Trade and Industry.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that motion number 1 on the addendum paper, page 1, be moved today.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Members, this is a procedural motion. All in favour of adopting the procedural motion, say aye. Aye. All against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is yes, Honourable Majesty.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister rose and moved the motion as advertised on the other paper addendum. The Speaker, our orders require the Minister, as under Order 3, 2, that the order or parts of the order proposed to be suspended and the reason for the proposed suspension shall be distinctly stated. Just rose up to say that. What's the reason?
Yes.
With the greatest respect. No coaches. No coaching.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, this is Parliamentary.
I have heard your objection, but I have been in this house for 14 years now. I've hardly heard any reason given for suspending the standing orders except agency. And this motion is already under a certificate of agency. So the motion has been moved and carried. Now let's move on to...
Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much. I thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, for those of us who have been in this house for a very long time, there was a time that for 6 years, this House was complying and submitting itself to a very bad practice. Until we woke up one day to realize that resolutions do not require the support of 2/3 of the membership of this House. That day, when reality dawned, we parted ways with the wrong practice. So, Mr. Speaker, nothing prevents us from parting ways with a wrong practice, beginning with the Venerable K.T. Hammond.
The notice is well served. We'll move on subsequently. So, we are still on the other paper addendum, item 2.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the Ghana Accreditation Service Bill 2023 be now read a third time.
Third and final time.
Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable members, honourable members, the motion for third reading has been moved and seconded. Now the question is all in favour of the House adopting the motion. Say aye. Aye. All against say no. All right. The ayes.
An act to establish the Ghana Accreditation Service to provide for an efficient and effective system for the accreditation of conformity assessment bodies to monitor assessment activities and to provide for related matters.
Members, the Ghana Accreditation Service Bill 2023 has now been read a third time and passed. Other members, it's 2 p.m. And as we agreed at the beginning, we will not sit beyond 2 p.m. If there's any announcement to be made by the Majority Leader and Leader of the House, I'm ready. Otherwise, I'm bringing proceedings to a close.
Mr. Speaker, I think I should commend members for their endurance, and in particular, those of them who have stayed in beginning yesterday for us to accomplish this task. As the Minister informed us, this bill had to be taken under a certificate of urgency because the final date for making the determination by this House is today, and we've struggled to live up to the billing. So let me commend those of them who, since yesterday, have been here for us to accomplish this task. The Speaker, I would entreat the table officers and our draftsperson for us, together with the leadership of the committee, for us to have a further meeting, having finished this task, to be able to do whatever cleaning up that we need to do. I should think Monday or Tuesday, Monday evening, if we should meet at 3 o'clock, Monday 3 o'clock, for us to do the combing, to assure ourselves that we are right on what we have done. So Monday 3 o'clock. The leadership of the committee is required, trade and industry, is required to be there. And if the minister would avail himself, because sometimes Sometimes they submit himself. Not avail himself, submit himself. Mr. Speaker, I think it will serve as a great deal if we did that. Finally, Mr. Speaker, today, so many questions that were programmed for the minister responsible for roads and highways. He was here, and because of the program for today, in respect of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we couldn't attend to him. I would engage the table officers for us to find space for both the minister responsible for roads and highways and agriculture into next week, so they are able to respond to those the series of questions programmed for the two ministers. But we shall give them sufficient time. So, Mr. Speaker, maybe the usual Friday for the Minister for Roads, you have to do a doubling up of the questions. And for food and agriculture, we'll find space for him. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and the time reading past 2 o'clock, we don't need any formal motion for the adjournment of the House. I thank you.
Does the minority bench wants to make this comment?
Mr. Speaker, we don't have any more useful thing to add. We want to thank you. You said you will finish at exactly 2 o'clock. When I checked, you finished exactly 2 o'clock. So we are now in your hands, Mr. Speaker.
Very well, honorable members. The House is adjourned till Tuesday, 4th July 2023 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.